What up? What up? What up? We are here live, episode 14 of the Cabrini Give podcast. I'm your host, the champ, David Haywood. I got my co-host with me, Keenan Perkins. Y'all might know him as KP.
What?
Call in. We have the call-in number down below. The number is 813-518-5791. Call in. We want to hear from you guys other than just commenting in the chat. So this is a new feature we're trying to roll out. So take advantage so we can hear from the people out there. We are expecting 2 more guests. I don't know if they're going to get on with us, but we will see. But until then, KP, today we're gonna get into something we touched on last week. I like how we left it last week because we left it with a little cliffhanger, and we're gonna expound upon that this week. Dealing with double standards in your relationship. I think this is super interesting. It's a super interesting topic because I don't feel like both sides see and recognize the double standards. As a man, I feel like we can recognize the double standards, especially when it pertains to us, right? So, one of the biggest things I feel like with double standards is that they don't just come out of nowhere, right? They be there the whole time, and if you don't say anything when you see it, now it's going to turn into this huge issue later on down the road. And it may come up in another issue that's completely unrelated, right? You could be making a sandwich, run out of bread, and now you're talking about the fact that she's doing something that you feel like you don't get to do. So, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts about double standards?
Yeah, I think in relationships there's a lot of course, there's a lot of give and take, right?
Mm-hmm.
Double standards. If you in relationships, I think it depends on certain double standards compared to. I think there's a lot of different double standards if you're in a relationship compared to if you are single and dating. If you are single and dating, man, I think there's a ton of double standards. So for example, here's what I think is a huge prime double standard. Let's say, for instance, I meet a female and I text her good morning every single morning, right?
Okay.
And she texts me back, those 1 or 2 days I stop, there's an issue typically.
I know exactly what you mean.
Now, did something happen? Did you lose interest? Et cetera, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. No. I just wanted to see maybe if you would take the initiative and say good morning back.
And I didn't hear from you all day.
and I didn't hear from you all day. So that could be a double standard. I think another double standard that us single people go through, I'm speaking for men and women both, that I can not only speak for myself, but friends that have told me these kinds of stories. For example, if let's say I text a girl and she texts me back. She texts me back, but then I don't text her back for another 20 minutes and she's like, man, that's messed up. You didn't text me back. But let's say, for instance, if I text her and she doesn't text me back and I say something to her, then I'm insecure or I'm crazy.
Now it's, give me a second.
Yeah. See, now, is that really fair? I don't think that's really fair. Now in a relationship, I haven't been in one of those in a minute. So, I don't really know the double standards that go within the relationship, like the relationship sphere.
Mm-hmm.
I can only guesstimate.
I mean, a lot of them probably do overlap, and I think even kind of keeping on like the single side, like a big one I think is like, especially like when you're dating, and you will see or you will hear women say a lot, I don't want to date a guy, or I don't want to meet a guy who's talking to 10 other women. But they inbox full, blowing up. And you say, yeah, but you talking to these dudes. Well, they just be texting me. I don't feed into it. Or I just respond and it's nothing.
Right. Right.
Felix said, if she's not hitting me with a good morning, I take it as she's not feeling me. Next, but the game is wild, a fun game though. So Felix looking at it as he want to see that reciprocated effort too.
Now, I'm with you, bruh. I am very, 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 very big on reciprocation in relationships, and I think in all forms of relationships, whether it's friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, things of that nature, but in relationships specifically, because that's what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, reciprocation is huge. You can only say good morning to someone every single morning until you're like, damn, like, if she texts me first and say, how about like, how am I, is she thinking about me first? And so I know that's a game in a sense, but at the same time, you should want to say good morning, or, you know what I mean? So I agree with you.
Yeah, because you get to like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and from our side, we start thinking like, damn, she ain't said nothing.
Right.
and now you kind of you puffing up your feathers at this point. Well, I ain't gonna say nothing. Now it's 12 o'clock. I'm definitely not gonna text her. And now you ain't talked to her all day. You might talk to her in the evening or something like that. But
and then that starts a whole another can of worms. That opens up a whole another can of worms. You know what I mean? And then they start posting, if this person can go without talking to you 24 hours, they can go without talking to you forever. Shut up.
Felix said, in a relationship, it must be reciprocated. I was speaking from a single point of view. Yeah, but even still, I think
single or not.
Yeah, how you expect to get anywhere without reciprocating effort? And I think that's probably another really big double standard when it comes to how men and women connect, is that men are expected to put forth the effort. And if you pull back on that effort, if you start out doing it and you pull back because you feel like you're not getting reciprocation, then instead of her saying, well, let me put forth the effort, it's, oh, he must have lost interest. Or I guess you got what you wanted and now you trying to ghost me. Or, instead of saying, well, he took me out, I'm going to take him out.
Right.
Well, we haven't been out in a while. Let me come up with a date night idea. Or so, that's single or in a relationship.
So I heard this yesterday. I hope I get this right, because I think I typed it in my phone. A man is taught how to treat. A man is expected to know how to treat a woman, but a woman is only. Damn, I can't remember it. It was a really.
Talking about a man is taught how to treat a woman, but women are typically taught what to expect from men. Just paraphrasing.
Yeah. It was something along those lines. Damn, I wish I could remember what it was. I was like, man, that is so true.
And I think that leads to a lot. That leads to a lot of issues. Like, when you first start dating, I'm talking about like when you first start dating. When you're 15, 16, 18 years old, you don't know what you're doing. You just like a girl and you just want to be around her. As you
Right.
get older and you start learning what it is to romantically date somebody, and it gets complicated. It's no longer just about you go hang out with her at lunch by the lockers. Like, now it's now it's actually life is involved in that.
Yeah.
And with that complication comes two people who may not have an understanding of how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, Felix said, "Hang out by the lockers." It comes with you. You may not know how to do it. Two people who don't know how to do it is and who are not emotionally intelligent enough to take the time to learn about each other. That's going to be a recipe for disaster. But if
I
you have an opportunity to learn and you just refuse to do it because you're in a position where you don't have to, um, then you're always gonna have that same situation, right? Like, I think every man can look back on his dating life and say that he's met women who, had he put in more effort, it may have turned out differently. But he probably got to a point where he was like, I'm not doing anymore. Like, I'm done.
yeah.
Like, I
Mhm.
did all I could do. This is not for me. In so many words, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's a ton. Not a ton. There's, there's not a ton. There's not a ton. No, I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. That because sometimes you're just tired of doing the same old song and dance. You know what I mean? So it's as we talked about in that one episode with Vicky, um, the dating pool, it's tough out here being
Mhm.
single. As a man and as I assume as a woman, you know what I mean? There's a lot of games being played, and it's like survival of the fittest. So you either go with the flow, or you just chill in the crib and just be by yourself.
Felix said, I did too much. I'm out and I left.
You out of the single world, Felix?
Oh, yeah. Felix been out the single world.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But when we talk about double standards, like, I think there's a lot of different levels where that plays into the development of whatever situation you're in, right? So it's like, when you're first talking to somebody, if you're not getting effort back from them because they assume you're the man, you're supposed to reach out to me. And I think that there are women, there's an echelon of women out there that can command
No, see, but a lot. I'm not gonna generalize for all the women that think that I'm about to generalize, but a lot of women. I won't say a lot of women, but I think that most women think that when a man wants reciprocation in regards to wanting that text back or wanting interest being shown,
Mhm.
I think, just a personal opinion, that they think that it's not masculine energy
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
You
you
sassy.
know
You being sassy.
right, like wanting someone to show me that they care about me and like me is somehow not masculine. Does that make sense? But yet you
Right.
want someone who wants who you want to do these things with, you want these things from, but when they want you to reciprocate these things, it's that's feminine energy. I want you to take charge. Well, sometimes in a relationship, when I only can give 80, you got to give 20.
Right.
Sometimes I'll give 90, you got to give 10. Sometimes you'll give 85 and I'll give 15. I think personally, this is probably, I think I said this in that first episode with Vicky, like, I mean, I look for those things in the lead up to a relationship, to where I know like what I'm gonna get from this person during the relationship. So that's why, like, if someone isn't showing reciprocation when we're talking, what makes me think they're going to show reciprocation when we're together and dating and things of that nature? Like, you gotta, I mean, just like I have to prove something to you, you have to prove something to me as well. But some people see that as, oh, that's feminine energy because he wants to be shown that he's cared about. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right. I was having a conversation. This was probably about 2 weeks ago. And we were having a conversation with our neighbor, and we were talking about what men expect from women. And I said, pretty much like to paraphrase it, because I don't remember 100% what verbatim what I said, but to paraphrase it, I said it's easier for women because we don't require anything from women tangible, right?
Yeah.
Like a man who's taking care of himself, who has his life together, has his own place, has a car, has a job, got some money, pays his bills, cooks his food, washes his own clothes. Like those type of things men don't need from women. We need intangible things like effort, affection. I need consideration. I need you to be interested in not just me romantically, but I need you to be interested in my day. I need you to ask me how my day was and what type of things I'm working on, and stuff like that. Like those are the type of things that men need from women. Now, are there those dudes out there that need a place to stay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there dudes out there that need a ride? Yeah. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have all the other stuff.
True.
And those things he may not even necessarily need from you, but that's how he sees that you care about him. If he's struggling, you can come stay with me. Or you don't have a car right now, you could take my car. Drop me off at work and you can take my car during the day. That type of stuff. That's more about showing him that you care about him and his well-being.
Facts.
But it's not, I feel like it's different for women. And I feel like women need those intangible things and the tangible things.
They need it all.
But
what do you mean? What do you mean by the tangible things? Like the car, the house. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like I mean, I think if a woman had it in a perfect world, right? Mm-hmm. She would date a guy who had his own car, had his house, had his own money, stuff like that. Not always the case, or to what extent, but those are the tangible things.
Right.
Geneva said it takes a tangible car to get you to a place when you don't have a car. No, but I'm saying like, because he don't need your car to get. He could take the bus. He can take an Uber. You know what I'm saying? I said just because he don't have a car doesn't mean he don't have the other things. Like he might still have a job, which means he can Uber. So it don't mean that he only got to unless he's like working in the woods or something. He needs your car for that.
Hey, Geneva be on one, boy.
She in the other room listening. But like, have I been at points in my life where I didn't have those things? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was able to give the intangible stuff.
Right.
To kind of make up for it. Right. And I was much younger, so women didn't need as much then, right?
Yeah, just pipe.
Now, huh?
I said just pipe.
Piping food.
That paid the bills. That paid the bills. That paid the bills a long time ago.
So I think that we are expected to have and give everything, intangible and tangible. But men don't need that from women. We just need the intangible from women.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Felix said pipe food and liquor. Casamigos and lemon pepper wings.
That's all. That's all we need. That's all we need. But it's easy to and most people don't understand that in relationships, but I'm sure people in relationships, they work through that type of thing to find that happy medium to where, you know, of course, a happy wife, a happy life, you know, things of that nature. We all know that, but we deserve, you know, to be happy as well. So, yeah, I mean, double standards they're all over the place. They're all over the place.
Do you think that men are expected to put their emotions on the back burner while simultaneously embracing women's emotions?
Yes, for sure. I think when a man is quote unquote emotional or communicative, if that's a word, I think it is, or over communicative, then it seems to be sometimes an issue for people. When most people, you would think you would want someone who speaks how they feel and who communicates, but in my opinion, I feel as if when someone doesn't like when someone is over communicative, that's like a defense mechanism to like, I really don't want to hear what you have to say because I know I'm wrong, but I don't want to hear what you have to say because, you know, I don't want to hear what you have to say because it's about me.
Right.
But yeah, when you have something to say, you're very communicative because you have something to say. You know what I mean? So
that sounds like it's touching on accountability.
Oh Lord, is that a word that women know? Hey women, hey ladies, hey, what's the word for the day? Accountability.
And I think where a big double standard plays into that is when you're a man, you're expected to own up for what you did, be upfront about it, apologize, ask for forgiveness for whatever it is you did, if it's something that you can apologize for. The flip side is, well, you did blank, 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 which made me react XYZ, and that's why I did it.
Right.
Felix said, "Oh shit, accountability."
Yeah, that's a crazy word, huh, Felix? That's the word of the day.
Yeah, and I think it's hard for both sides. I think it's hard for men. I think it's hard for women. I think there's a lot of pride when it comes to men. Just speaking from a male perspective, there's a lot of pride involved when you overstep, a boundary, and somebody has to check you for it. You do got to swallow a little bit of pride and apologize. But I feel like it's even harder for women. As hard as it is for guys, it's even harder.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have a hard time saying I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I really don't. I'm very emotionally aware of myself, and so like if I'm wrong about something, like I self reflect every single day, and if I did something like, damn, I shouldn't have said that, I'll send a text, I'll call, I'll send a voice message. If I'm wrong, I will think about it and I will for sure apologize. I am not I'm not above the program.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, like, I am someone, champ. I want someone to treat me the way that I treat them. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Granted, it doesn't always work that way,
Right.
but I don't have a problem saying I'm sorry if I'm wrong about something, for sure. Now, when they don't, when they have a problem with saying I'm sorry, it's bothersome, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that I think one of my biggest, hangups in my journey of toward higher levels of emotional intelligence, one of my biggest issues was speaking up when something happened that bothered me. Um, because it may have been something where I didn't know how to address it. Sometimes I like to internalize and think about it to figure out how I want to address the conversation.
Yeah,
Um, but then I also project that. I also am aware that I have projected that in relationships too. Like you said, you want someone to treat you the same way that you treat them. And I don't know if it's because of, being a man or being a Gemini. I don't know what it is, but there's times where I have shut down, um, and didn't talk about what was bothering me, but wanted the other person to talk about if something was bothering them. Um, and so being able to recognize those times um, where you were kind of placing that expectation on the other person, but maybe not in a position emotionally, emotional awareness wise, for you to understand that you're also not being living up to that standard as well. So that was something that I had to learn and have tried to work on and get better at. Um, just for the sake of, the person that you're dating, because these people aren't mind readers either. They need
right.
to know what it was. So let's see. Felix said that word can save relationships. I appreciate if she's wrong, say sorry, and we move on. I apologize for everything. It's no big deal to me. Felix said, Dave, give us a scenario. Let me see if I can think of a scenario. Let me try to think of one. Okay, so I remember this was back when me and my girlfriend had just really first started dating. And I remember I was sitting on the couch and she came downstairs and she was on her phone. And I felt some kind of way about it because we hadn't been together all day, right? And she came down and she was on her phone, just scrolling, Facebook, whatever, listening to podcasts, whatever, blah, 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 not really talking or whatever. So I just kind of shut down. I'm like, well, if you ain't gonna say nothing, I ain't gonna say nothing. And we went like a couple hours and didn't say nothing to each other. And then toward the end of the night, we get up to go to bed. I just got up and went upstairs. She's like, what's wrong with you? And instead of me saying at the time, like, hey, like, are you okay? And letting her explain, like, no, I'm just vegging out from work or whatever. And, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was coming off that way. It went for like a whole day. You know what I'm saying? So I recognize that I didn't say it, but there's been times where she has kind of shut down, and I'm like, well, you got to say something. You got to say something. You got to talk about it. But I also know that there's times that I didn't talk about it when I was in that same situation.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I don't, to be 100% honest, like I just kind of always was like that. Like I just would, if you did something that bothered me, like I just kind of kept it to myself, um, and got over it by myself. And I think a lot of times what it was that I didn't want to have a conversation about it because I didn't want you to tell me, I didn't believe that you would tell me the truth, in a way. Like if I said, oh, I felt some kind of way about um, something you did or blah, blah, blah. I don't want you to be like, nah, you seeing it the wrong way. Because I know how I'm seeing it. I don't want you to tell me I'm seeing it the wrong way because I know what I feel. You know what I'm saying? So I think that prevented me a lot of times from having that conversation. Geneva said, nah, I talk about it. He's the shutter downer, but a lot better, and I love him for it. I love you too, babe.
Oh my gosh! Shut up. Oh my
But
God.
I'm not I'm really not like that anymore. Like it's something that did take a lot of work. But now, kind of like you said, when you over communicate, now it's like, ugh. Because now every time something happens, I'm like, we need to have a conversation.
So you're not a fan of you're a fan you're not a fan of over communicating, or you are a fan of over communicating?
Um, I would say I'm not a fan of it.
And what's your definition of over communicating, though?
I
Just so
mean,
we're
if we got to talk about something like at length, like I'm talking about like if we got to beat a dead horse, like if this is something that's gonna go on and on and on and on, like I'm not a fan of that.
no. So when I say when I say over communicating, I guess like I mean more so thorough, if that makes sense.
Um, I feel like I understand where you're coming from. You're saying like if you reach out and say, "Hey, earlier today when we were sitting down at dinner, I said this and I felt like you kind of took it a certain way and I didn't realize it at the time, but the more I thought about it, I realized that it might have affected you and I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. That was never my like if you talking about going into the conversation like that, am I a fan of me doing it or I'm a fan of someone else doing it to me?
Are you a fan of someone else doing it
I
to
would
you?
probably never do that.
Yeah. Are you a fan of someone else doing it to you? Like being thorough in the way that they feel when they're talking about how they feel. For instance, somebody can be like, I feel like this. Whereas an over communicator will say, I feel like this because.
Hmm.
So for me
Yeah.
as a communicator, I am a person who I feel like this because. I don't say, hey baby, I feel like this and wait for a response. I want you to know how I feel and the way why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling.
Okay. Um, I feel like I'm not a fan of it because I feel like I don't need it.
Yeah.
Do I think? But I also realize that women need that space to feel heard. So I'm not opposed to it, but I don't feel like it's necessary. If I say, hey, I'm going out with KP, we're gonna go have some drinks for happy hour, and I come back at 3 o'clock in the morning, she could say, oh, I just didn't expect for you to be out this late. Or she could say, I'm feeling some kind of way because you told me I was going out for happy hour, and then I feel like you misled me because you knew you was going to be out longer than that. And I wish you had just told like that. I would be like, I don't need it, But I also feel like it would make her feel heard if I gave her the space to do it.
Right.
But if at the same time she was like, I thought you was coming back earlier, I would get it.
And then the double standard.
So I'm just gonna say I'm hurt, but not explain why. I mean, you could say why, but I'm talking about to the length.
So you ain't trying to hear the length of why she's hurt.
Like if you say I'm hurt because you were out so late with your friend and I thought you were coming back earlier and that was it, got it, case closed. But if it's a 30-minute conversation about that, I feel like it could have been expressed shorter, but I also would never not allow you to do that because I feel like you got to get it out.
Right.
Like
so that's what I'm saying. So what if it's the flip side? Like what if it's the dude who's like that and it's the girl who doesn't like it? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I think that's 100% because women have been, like you said earlier, women have been raised to feel like that's not masculine. And maybe not even necessarily raised to believe it's not masculine. It's just that in our generation and generations before, men didn't do it. Like their fathers didn't open up, their brothers didn't open up, their uncles didn't open up, their grandfather didn't open up. So they grew up in households where men didn't express. So if now they're in a relationship with a man and he's expressing, he's communicating effectively and over communicating to an extent, for them it's going to be weird because they're going to be like, like I'm not used to this. Like why he's dwelling on this at this point. I can understand why women bristle up at that. I can understand that. Geneva said, nah, we want you to know why. I want you to know why something is upsetting to prevent it from occurring. And she said, and so that I can tell you the first time, so I don't need to tell you the second time.
Yeah, but sometimes you might have to tell them a second or a third or fourth time. You know, I mean, that's what happens if you love someone. I mean, sometimes they don't learn the first and second time. I mean, we were all kids at some point. We touched the stove the first time. Mom said, don't do that. We touched the stove the second time. Mom said, don't do that. The third time, she probably got the belt out. The fourth time, we probably ran from the belt. So, I mean, sometimes you just got to work with somebody, you know?
Right. So do you feel like, when you, in your household growing up, did you grow up in a one-parent household or two parents? One-parent household, your mom?
Yep.
Okay. Did you see her be... did you ever see her like in a relationship?
Yeah.
Did you see her? Do you feel like she over communicated? Like, do you feel like you grew up with your most likely first example of a woman to be that way?
I would probably say yes. My mother is very alpha. She's that boys in the hood mom. For sure. Like no BS. So my mom is very alpha. She will cuss you out. She will tell you like it is. That is very much how I am when people get to know me. I won't cuss you out. I'm not a big cusser, but I will tell you like it is. I will be very straightforward. Some people like it. Some people don't. In the words of the great philosopher, Sean Carter, you either love me or leave me alone. Simple as that. As simple as that. So I communicate, and plus, of course, for a living, I communicate. I stand in front of people all day. as a facilitator. So I'm very big on communication, and I'm very thorough and exact with how I feel. So when I'm in a relationship or when I'm talking to someone, if I feel a certain way, I want to be able to have that space to be able to say what I want to say, regardless of how long-winded it may be. Allow me to get that out, because you would want that same energy returned to you. So I would never say, even if it's not in, for example, a text message.
Right.
I would never say, if a girl sent me like a book, granted, I'll be like, damn, this is a damn book. But I wouldn't say anything to her like, I'm not reading this. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's rude. Like, if you feel a certain way, granted, it's a book, I'm gonna read it. But for me to tell you that I'm not gonna read it because you wrote how you felt in this book, to me, that's ignorant. And so, granted, I've had that happen to me a ton of times where I was saying how I felt.
You was writing the book.
Yeah, I was writing a book. I mean, I've had the book written on me too, but I was writing a book. I'm not reading this. What? Like, you don't see. And to me, that shows a lack of respect. You show a lack of respect of how I feel. And again, you can say that is not quote unquote masculine energy, but I'll be damned if someone tells me that it's not masculine to show how they feel, because most women want men to show them how they feel.
Felix said we all need to share how we feel, good or bad, but definitely not be disrespectful.
Definitely not disrespectful. Yeah. Definitely not. And so, like, when someone's, I'm not reading that, it's like that shows to me a lack of respect, because I would never say that to someone, even though I may say it internally, be like, man, I'm not reading this shit.
I'm not gonna outwardly say it.
I'm not gonna outwardly say it to the person. Like, that shows a lack of respect for me personally.
See, and I feel like so I grew up in a 2-parent household up until high school, and I feel like my dad was the over communicator.
Okay.
Very open, very transparent, emotional, but he was the over communicator, if we're gonna call it that. My mom was the one that was probably more closed off, maybe more direct to the point, but my dad was the one that will sit down and write you a letter. Right, like he would do that, like or like a postcard with like a paragraph on it. Like, he would do that, but my mom was more just like direct to the point. So I feel like I grew up seeing it both ways, in our household, as kids, and I don't know. I feel like it's super interesting to take into consideration, like, how the things you saw in the environment that you were in as a kid, obviously, how it shapes and affects the way you communicate with people as an adult. Even subconsciously, if you grew up in a house where there was no affection is going to be weird to you as an adult. Yep. Or you're going to seek it out in maybe a not so healthy way.
Right.
If there was no communication in your household, you may grow up being closed off, or you may start over communicating because you didn't feel heard as a kid. So I think it's just super interesting how all that plays a part into, how we deal with relationships now as adults.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I'm more like my dad now. I'm still like my mom, but like, my dad's always been in my life, but I lived with my mom my entire life. But yeah, my dad he's more quiet, but he'll tell you when when he needs to speak up, he'll chuck you up if he needs to.
Do you feel like Did we talk about body count last week?
We talked about that with Vicky. She really didn't know what that meant, but
oh yeah. But I feel like that's a big one too. I feel like that's a big double standard.
Oh, like if a dude has if a girl has a lot of bodies and a dude doesn't want to mess with her.
Yeah, like I saw a post on Instagram this week. Is a politician in Africa, like South Africa, and he got in trouble for something, so his office got raided. And they found 400 videos of him with other women.
Sheesh.
But then they also found a video of his wife with one other dude. And so the joke was, they were like, he's been with 400 women, and the wife said, "I'm gonna stay with you. We're gonna work through it. It'll be fine." Right. But then the video comes out that she cheated on him with one guy, and the joke was that one guy in his mind
equal,
yeah, would hurt him more than her being hurt by the 400 women. Like that, he would be more upset about that one guy than what he did with 400 women.
Yeah, no, that's just hurt. That is a double standard, unfortunately. Like, if a girl cheats on a dude, it hits harder than when a dude, for the dude. Well, of course for the dude, but it hits harder to the dude if a girl cheats on another on them. It hits harder. It hits harder. I mean, I've been cheated on before. I mean,
I have too
in college, and I mean, I didn't know about it until after the fact, but until after the breakup. But man, I was like, what? I thought I was putting shit down. You know, somebody else, some other nigga was fucking was laying pipe too, I guess. So it hits. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, me and Terry was talking about. We were having a conversation about Cardi B and Offset, and his position basically was, she's just catching a lot of flack because she's a woman. I said there's part of that could be true, but you cheated on your husband while you were pregnant. I feel like that's probably worse. And so we kind of were just going back and forth about like the boundary, right? It's like, if you got a girlfriend and you go out one night and you cheat on her, right? You whatever, right? Somewhere else. Or if you cheat on her in the home that y'all share together, in the bed that y'all sleep in, that's going to hurt her more. Like those two things are not the same. And Terry's perspective was, nah, it's just because she's a woman. I was like, nah, I feel like that's something you don't do. Like that hurt him more. And, even though Cardi was like, oh, Offset's been cheating on me for 7 years. He was hurt to find out that she cheated on him one time while she was pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah. That goes back to the last week. I would never have sex with. Well, I mean, if it's Cardi B, I don't know.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. No, you would.
Cardi B. I love me some Cardi B. I ain't gonna hold you, but I don't know if it was more so because she's pregnant or because she, quote unquote. Okay, so I understand they're still married, so technically she cheated, but I don't really consider her cheating on Buddy if she cheated on him. If he was cheating on her for years and she did what she did, yeah, she got her lick back supposedly. But man, come on, that's only so much a woman can take. She's taking that dude back so many times. So I mean, she granted it's gonna hurt, but like I said, I don't know if it hurt more because she was pregnant or because she cheated. But I mean, she was bound to cheat. he cheated on her so many times. There's only so much that she can take, and she's Cardi B.
But with the bait, with the bun in the oven.
Yeah, that's diabolical, man. That's diabolical work for real. Like, I don't know, but Cardi B is Cardi B. Like, if Cardi B came up to me and she's pregnant and she's like, "Let's get it in," I'm tearing. I'm tearing.
I don't think you would.
I'm tearing Cardi B up, bro. Sorry. Hey, Cardi, I'm tearing you up, boo boo. I'm tearing you up. I'm tearing Cardi B up. It's Cardi B. It's Cardi B.
I feel like you saying that like she is like the pinnacle.
No, she's not the pinnacle, but she's bad though. Like she's bad. She's bad. Now, if you're saying like, don't get me wrong, like what I'm about to say is gonna be funny, but because I love me some her. Now, if you're talking about Sexy Red, I would say no. Because I love Sexy Red. I mean, she's from the city, so I love me some Sexy Red. But if she's pregnant, I wouldn't bang her. But Cardi B, yes, I would bang Cardi B while she's pregnant. 1000%. Beyonce, for sure.
What about Meg?
No, I don't like Meg Thee Stallion.
You don't like Meg Thee Stallion, but you like Sexy Red.
Yeah, I love Sexy Red. Like I haven't. I love Sexy. I'm one of those dudes that I be bumping Sexy in the car. She's from my city. Like I'm one of the most, like, you know me. I'm one of the most like preppiest, well-spoken dudes. But I'm from St. Louis. I'm a rep. She's from my city. But I love, like, for some reason, there's a part of me that just love ratchet chicks. Like, I would never date a ratchet chick, but I just love that. Like, I just love that ratchetness, like that, like how they're just like free. Like, it just seems like they're just free, like free.
Felix said, "What?"
Yeah, I love Sexy. Get it sexy. Get it sexy. I love Sexy Red, bro.
Felix, for y'all, that would probably be the equivalent of like, yeah, that's the chick.
I love Glorilla too. Nah, but Meg Thee Stallion, nah, I'm free Tory all day.
No, we're not talking about her outside of if Meg was pregnant.
No, I can't do it. Something about her, man. I just don't like. I don't know. Just something about her. Something about her. I don't really care for her. Lotto, turn that ass up too. I'm tearing Lotto up too.
Suki Hana?
No, you talk about a body count.
Like Sexy Red and Glorilla.
Talk about a body count, and you can probably throw a bowling ball down that thing, boy. Nah.
Felix said, "I'm Carol G all day." Now that's an artist.
Yeah, Carol G. Yeah, Carol G's bad too. Carol G's bad.
Carol G bad. And what's her name? She's a Latin artist. I can't think of her name. She was on SNL. I'm gonna look it up.
Man,
I don't really know.
All them Latin artists be bad. Like that chick that 6ix9ine was messing with. She is bad.
Carol G, Becky G.
Get it sexy. Get it sexy. Get it sexy. Man, people be hating on Sexy Red, man.
I mean, I can see why.
Man, she gotta make a living.
You're right. I mean, there's a market for everything.
Yeah,
there's a market for everything. I remember I used to bounce at a strip club there in Phoenix. Two of them actually, but it was like on 32nd Avenue, and Indian school. I can't remember the name of it. But when I used to bounce there, like you'll see a stripper, you be like, ain't nobody gonna pay for that. And she probably walk out with the most money at the end of the night.
Yeah, she know how to work that ass. Yeah.
There's a market for everything. So it's clearly sexy. I mean, and she did well, these last 2 years. Like,
yeah, there's a market for midgets. There's a market for everything, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy out here in this world. But Sexy Red, she just gets a bad rap because she
get a bad rap.
She plays on the ratchet card. Hey.
She play it up. I mean, she plays to her demographic. Like I think I've only been to St. Louis maybe like twice. So if that's, I mean, I'm sure the majority of her fan base is from St. Louis, so she's representative.
No, that's not a depiction of how St. Louis is for sure, but that is a depiction of how some chicks are in certain parts of St. Louis for sure. On the north side, for sure, that is how a lot of chicks are like Sexy Red. But I'm gonna rock with Sexy Red all day. You can't say Sexy Red is what I'm about to say is gonna be blasphemous. Sexy Red is like our Michael Jackson to me, bro. You can't say
Michael
nothing
Jackson?
No, like you can't say nothing bad about Michael Jackson to me. Like, just like you can't say nothing bad about Sexy Red. Like, you just can't. I'm a defender no matter what. Just like I would defend Michael Jackson.
I mean, okay. I get the metaphor.
I just love her, bro. I'm always rock with her. My parents hate her. They don't like her. I'll be bumping the music all the time for sure.
I mean, I think she found her niche.
Yeah.
And they rocking with her. Like, she found her niche and she rocking with it. Now she was just pregnant recently, wasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah. She was making money throughout that pregnancy. She was hustling, man. You got a woman that hustles, man. That's what we need in our life, a woman that hustles.
But you said you would never date her. You can't take her home to mom.
No, I definitely can't take I can't take her to mom's for sure. I can't take her to mom's. But there ain't too many that's going home to Francis. So it just kind of depends. You know? A lot of things have to happen before that happens for sure. But it's like we talked about earlier. I mean, you got so many, as a single man, you got so many hurdles you gotta jump over. You gotta know if you're communicating enough, knowing if you're communicating not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing if you're touching base enough, knowing if you don't touch base enough, maybe she'll lose interest and find someone else. First date, is it nice enough? Is it not nice enough?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it not creepy or is it creepy? Is it dark? Is it light? You know, do I do?
If I offer to go pick her up, is she gonna think I'm trying to do something to her? That she don't want me to see where she stay at?
Right. So it's just like there's so many things that that we as men have to think about even approaching a female. We put ourselves in the position for failure. We got a 50-50 chance when we go up to a female that either she's going to be interested or that she's not going to be interested. And even though if she shows interest in that initial walk up, she cannot text you back or not show interest the rest after that. So it's crazy because like you see these girls that will post on Instagram, oh, I want a relationship, or oh, this dude this dude that. And then when you see dudes like approach them out or something like that, they be just batting them away. But yet they want someone to take initiative. They want someone to do this and do that and all this stuff like that. It's crazy.
it's right. Like as a guy, you are signing up to walk through a minefield.
For sure.
You're
For
signing up to
sure.
walk through a minefield, and you don't know where the mines are
No.
because you don't know where her past is yet. You don't know her idea on certain things. Like you say, you might see her at the gym and walk up to her, hey, I just want to come introduce myself. And that could be a red flag to her.
Yeah. The gym intro is like we talked about. I think that one episode. That's a whole nother kind of type of ball game. But yes, no, I totally. It's a total minefield. It's a total minefield. The ball is always in their court for the most part. Unless they approach the dude, which a lot of women do. I'll give y'all some props.
It's been changing. I feel like it's been changing.
Yeah, there's a lot of women that will approach a man. But when a man approaches a female, man, it's crazy. It's like you got to do so much to get just a little.
But I also feel like that's why men deal with rejection better. And Geneva probably will disagree with this. But I think that because men, in our mind, it's happened before where you've been rejected. You have a 50-50 shot. She could say no. Okay. And you walk off.
Right.
But I think that women who walk up to guys who introduce themselves to guys in their mind already think he gonna like this.
Yeah.
I don't think a woman goes into that situation and says, well, we'll see. Yeah. I don't think that that's how they go in. They go into it thinking, I look good tonight. I'm carrying myself well. He'd be crazy to turn this down.
Right.
So like you said, even them, like the ball's still in their court.
Yeah, because in the rare chances that dude does turn her down, like he has a girlfriend, wife, whatever, they're blown away. They probably want that dude even more. In some instances.
They clutch their pearls.
They're probably like, yeah, I want him more. We put ourselves through as men. It's tough approaching a female because they could say, get out of my face. They could say you creep. But again, like I said, they could even give you the time of day and you could think
not respond.
Yeah, they not respond. Like, what's the point? What's the point of giving me your number to not respond? What? Like, it is crazy.
Geneva said, tell that to someone who got harassed and stalked or verbally assaulted for politely letting them down. Yeah, that happens, but that also happens both ways. Also happens both ways because I saw a news story where a lady at a bar tried to kiss a dude. He pushed her away because he was there with his girlfriend or wife, and when he kissed his girlfriend or wife, the girl he pushed away stabbed him.
Damn.
He didn't even know the girl, but because he denied her, she shanked him at the bar. She went to jail, whatever. But it happens both ways. It's not just one-sided.
Oh man, she
Not just
shivved
one
him.
side.
She shivved him.
She shivved him.
Damn, that's cold work too. She probably
to
that's
even
crazy.
have a blade on you.
And then it's not masculine energy if he presses charges.
Because it's a double set. He is expected to let it go.
Right.
Heal up and let it go. Geneva said, right, but I want to see the percentage of women to men.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's 50-50.
Yeah.
I'm saying it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. But
Yeah,
that kind of goes back to our original conversation. You're expected to take that chance.
Right.
The
We can get
standard
laughed
is you're
at.
expected to take that chance.
Man, we can get laughed at, man. Like you saw that one dude earlier in the year or last year, he had on the polo shirt and and he was trying to holler at
They
those
not
girls.
fresh.
Yeah, he looked nice, I thought. They was clowning him. I was like, dang, he was just trying to holler.
Right.
It's tough. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. If you don't, especially like if you're a short dude, man, you really got it bad.
If you're a short dude,
if you're a short dude and you're trying to approach a female, man, boy.
It was 50-50. Now you down to 75-25.
Your percentage drops drastically.
You better have some bread.
Yeah, you better have some bread.
Geneva said, men are usually always physically stronger. Therefore, that's why you all need to create the safety for us to feel comfortable meeting you out. So you mean by us doing the approaching? I'm assuming that's what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, I love when a woman approaches me. I think it's super sexy.
It's only happened to me, I would say maybe like twice. But it's different.
It's sexy.
You do feel a little
yeah, it feels good. It feels good. I mean,
you'd be like, ooh, okay.
I've had all kinds. I've had fat, skinny. I've had it, and it makes me all feel the same. I'm like, oh, that's cute.
But I feel like but you're because you brought up short guys. I mean, I feel like you're in a different. I don't want to say class. That's not a right. Different group.
Yeah. I mean, we're part of the 1%ers in the height category almost.
Right.
But yeah, I would hate to be a short guy.
Geneva said, or why we give our number when we're not interested, because you all might become aggressive if we say no, so it's easier. And afraid if we give the wrong number, you're gonna call us there on the spot.
Always call on the spot.
Always you call her.
Always call on the spot, Geneva. That's getting number 101. You always call on the spot for sure.
Right. You give her your phone and say, put your number in and call me.
Yeah. Or I take the number and I call her right then and there. Oh, my phone is in my purse. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
I see where this is going.
Right. So you gotta, it's, and then I mean, you gotta call. You gotta call. Otherwise, you want to see if it's real. Right. Somehow, if they call you, like if some girls out here are really they're about it. They'll approach. They'll tell you to get your phone out. They'll do all that. But then there's others you gotta, go through that minefield, and sometimes you're gonna get burned. More times than not, you're probably gonna get burned. You're probably gonna get blown up. Which sucks. It sucks. It's hard out here. It's hard.
What I have seen a lot of women do is instead of giving you their number, they'll say, "Do you have Instagram
Yeah.
or you got Snapchat?" And they'll tell you to add them on there, so that way they can ignore you. They can
Right.
ignore you that way, or at least if they give it to you, y'all add each other on Instagram. You would actually see what her life is like outside of that
Right.
night.
Yeah, I think the Instagram thing is super prevalent nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Even I do that instead of asking for the numbers. Sometimes I won't even ask for the number. I'll just ask for the Instagram. But it just kind of depends. Like, I mean, or if someone comes up to me and they're all right, I'll give out my fake name.
His club name.
Yeah, we all got.
Geneva said guilty, add and block.
Damn.
Cold blooded.
Yeah, that's dirty work right there. See, why waste your time in even talking to the person if you're gonna just block them? Like, I don't see that kind of stuff doesn't make sense to me. Like, you just wasted probably 5 or 10 minutes of your life talking to someone just to block them. That's dirty work, Geneva.
Right. Nasty work. Nasty work. Yeah, I think that's becoming more prevalent now, especially like with online dating. People don't want to connect. Your phone number is super personal.
Yeah.
You give somebody your Instagram or your Snapchat or whatever. It's not as personal. Yeah, they get a little piece of your life. They can get a glimpse, but
it's an easier way to detach if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Geneva said, she can block you. You never talk to that person again. But
unless you see them again.
Exactly. Which is very possible in Scottsdale.
Right. If you go to Bottle Blind every weekend.
Yeah, that's not even the spot no more. But if you do go out, you're more than likely to run into someone that that happens. So like what's the point? But yeah, I think it's just easier to detach. So people will do the Instagram in case they don't want to talk to that person again. Which is, I mean, I guess it's fine. I guess I don't really block people. I think that's stupid, unless they did something to you.
Right. If it's somebody you just don't want to date.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about in general. Like, I don't do the whole blocking or defriending unless like you did something to me or you posted something that was just like super ignorant. Otherwise, I don't have to see your stories. I don't have to see your posts. Like,
right. I can mute you.
Yeah. There's people that I'm friends with that I go maybe like once a month without seeing any, and they're like once a month without seeing anything that they post. So, I mean, I just think that's kind of, I don't know.
Geneva said duck and weave.
Duck and weave. A lot of girls be doing that. That's why it's so hard to date. Just because you can do the littlest thing and a girl will stop talking to you. I don't think dudes really hold that kind of standard, like, for the most part. Do you?
Yeah, I think dudes will give you a lot more
rope.
They give you a lot more rope, but it's also depending on how much he's invested. He could just be sticking around to get his return on his investment and has like emotionally checked out. Like, he doesn't care what you do from now on for the next like month or two. Like,
yeah.
Geneva said, but it's not about you seeing them. It's the fact they no longer have access to you.
Yeah. I mean, you can get access if you want to.
A lot of people got burner accounts.
Yeah. But no, that's Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like with the prevalence of online dating, the emergence of online dating, like it's more in depth and more superficial at the same time. Because people put all the information they want you to know about them on their profile, so you see it. Sometimes they'll even put their Instagram on there, whatever. They'll put their information on there for you to see it. So they are giving you some details, some intimate details, but at the same time, you're not going to swipe on somebody who you're not physically attracted to the picture. So there's a level of superficialness kind of baked into it as well. Like if you see somebody you like physically, okay, let me scroll. And you look down a little bit, let me see what she's talking about. Okay, she got this. She went to school here. Blah 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 blah. I'm gonna press X. I'm gonna press like on that. But if it's somebody else who has an amazing profile and you didn't get past the picture X.
Yeah, I mean, the first picture is I don't know how often I go past the first picture. But I did like when I had a profile, I did an experiment where I put as my height that I was 5'5", and then if you scroll down, if you read the rest of the profile, I said something along the lines of, I just wanted to make sure that you read this entire thing. I'm actually 6'5", etc., so on and so forth. I didn't get no hits. I changed my shit to 6'5". Bing, 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 bing. Damn, 10
no hits.
Bing, 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 bing. I was like, all right. Well,
inbox was dry.
Man. As soon as I changed that height. Bing, 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 bing. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But I think if women are honest, they look for the same things that we do. You know, they look at height, look at a picture. If you get past that, then they'll read the rest. Women probably read more profiles than guys do. Guys probably read it if we match. If you like me back, then I'm gonna look at it.
I mean, I'll be reading. I ain't gonna lie to you. These chicks out here be crazy, bro. I'll be reading.
Well, what we'll probably next time, what we're gonna do, we're gonna get into dating stories next time.
Okay. Yeah.
We're gonna get into crazy date stories.
Hey, for all of you that are watching this right now, I'm sorry for next week. I apologize to you now. I'm sorry.
If they made it past Felix talking about being urinated on in the shower, I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't have no stories like that, but
Felix is a wild boy. Felix is a wild boy.
Okay. I might have to bring some stories I've never told some people out before, if that's what it takes. I'm sorry now.
I apologize ahead of time. All right, we're gonna get out of here. KP, you got any parting words for our viewing audience?
And next week, we need some call-ins. We need some more engagement, and we're going to be rocking and rolling. Subscribe, add on Instagram, add us. We want more. We want way more engagement. And next week, I think we're going to have some good stories to tell. I'm excited.
Next week, we're gonna have some good stories, and we already got a guest. We already have a guest lined up for next week. So be ready for the flyer when that comes out. That'll come out beginning of next week, maybe over the weekend if I decide. But next week gonna be a barn burner, as they say in Tar Heel country. It's a barn burner.
Nah.
All right, we gonna get out of here. You got his UNC hat on, this boy. We're gonna get out of here. Thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Like KP said, like, subscribe, share the link. Share the link from this episode, share the link from past episodes, share the link from the profiles, the Instagram, the Facebook, everything. We're trying to grow it as much as possible. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll get there for sure. So we're gonna see everybody next week, next Wednesday, same time, same place. I appreciate you.
Peace.